On today's episode of the Toy Chasers.
What are you looking for?
Fucking toys. What do you think I'm looking for?
This is something everybody needs to see. It smells like stale butt.
But when I hear a price tag that high on one item, my butthole kind of puckers up a little bit. We are at a toy show here in Grapevine, Texas, at the Grapevine Convention Center.
And you have this at this convention center, it seems like 1 to 2 times a year at least, and we always try to go to it.
We are here because there are toys here, and we like toys.
So Billy shows up at my apartment this morning, looking like death ran him over. I'm like, dude, what's the matter with you? And he looks at me with this disgruntled, almost pain in his eyes kind of look. And he goes, I've explosive diarrhea this morning.
Okay, so immediately, one thing that I spy with my stupid brown eye are some board games and some Colorforms.
On the board game, I can do 5. They're still 5 each? Yeah.
Board games is a huge part of my upbringing because you bought one board game and it was a present for 6 kids, so it was a cheap way for us to have some entertainment.
I am an absolute sucker for board games, and they were a big part of my childhood growing up. Me and my sibling and cousin stuff would always play board games.
Oh yeah,
The Darkwing Duck board game though, it's really cool. I like the Disney and the colorful artwork on the front. It's really cool looking.
I don't have that one. I actually have several sharks.
I think this dude's gonna take all our money because Melvor is seeing a street shark that he has to have here.
So the Street Sharks was kind of like a, let's face it, this was a Ninja Turtle ripoff. In the 90s, there was a lot of stuff that was kind of ripping off the Ninja Turtles, and this was probably one of the better ripoffs, if you will.
Pizza okay?
Pizza?
How much for this guy right here?
I can do 5. Yeah.
These things actually have a decent demand online, so $5, I'm happy with that price and more than willing to pay for it. I think I'm gonna pick this up.
I remember seeing the cartoons and the commercials and stuff for them, but the toys never appealed to me. It was nothing that I was ever in.
This was something that was way past my time. I was already in high school when this stuff came out. I was already a senior when this stuff came out, so I was going to concerts and stuff. I wasn't watching cartoons.
There's no denying the fact that the Street Sharks are kind of a cool little toy in terms of like their design. I mean, they're muscular, like humanoid sharks. That's kind of cool.
This is something that, even though it's, something that I don't really have any nostalgia for, they are cool, and I'm kind of interested in starting to collect these.
I want to show you something up close and personal. I've got something here with such fantastic detail, it's gonna blow you away. Hand shark!
So another thing here at the same vendor is Colorforms. These things were little, people like to call them shrinky dinks for some reason.
Well, that's pretty cool. We gotta get some of this, right?
We were a simple folk back then. We didn't need cell phones and iPads. Give us a Colorform and we were good to go for a while.
So look nice next to my my Gremlins Colorforms.
My very first Colorform as a child came Christmas 1983, 1984, somewhere around there, and it was a G.I. Joe Colorform. So seeing these sparks nostalgia for me, obviously. So I definitely got to pick these up.
Should I get the crash test too?
Yo, this dude's asking $5 a piece on this stuff. I'm in. Like, I'm gonna load up right here. I'm in on this for sure. Absolutely, no questions asked.
So he comes to the total of $35, which, looking at this stack of loot that the guys are getting, this is a hell of a deal. But, it wouldn't be Toy Chasers and if Jay didn't, get into that slime ball mentality and try to scrape a few extra dollars off his cheap ass.
Got $35 worth of stuff. Should you take 25 for all of it? 25. I'll do 30. Not no fun. 25 and a hug? 30 and a handshake.
Honestly, I'd have been okay paying $35 for all of this.
I'll do 30, man. Why not?
So I showed up to this thing early with a buddy from work because I wanted to actually look around. If I would have waited for Billy and Jay, we'd be showing up half an hour before this thing closed.
I told him. All this real chain. He's got like all these swords and it's
Jason Brown is a friend of Melvor's, and they both work at the same place. And so I can only assume that they just spend all day talking about toys at work.
You know, he's into the same stuff, so it's cool to have somebody at this depressing job of mine that we could talk about, you know, old cartoons from the 80s and old commercials and action figure lines and stuff like that.
He's a huge toy guy, just like we are.
Toy expert.
Probably knows more than we do, though, actually.
Well, actually.
Oh, it's He-Man, isn't it?
This is the base to the Talon Fighter add-on, and then this is the trap door for the Grayskull.
This is something Jay's interested in, I know, because he has a Grayskull, and this is a nice little add-on that they came out with the Talon Fighter that was specifically designed to fit onto your existing Castle Grayskull. It's kind of neat, actually.
I, Skeletor, will finally defeat He-Man!
I'll use the Talon Fighter to stop Skeletor!
In a flash, He-Man's hurled through space and time.
Surrender to the power of Point Red's Talon Fighter!
You win, He-Man, but I'll be back!
Point Red and the Talon Fighter with record and storybook. You have to put it together. Action figures sold separately from Mattel.
So, the Castle Grayskull I acquired actually through Melvor. He got it for me for my birthday one year.
I'm very surprised that Melvor got Jay that Castle Grayskull several years back for his birthday, because Melvor is just like a son of a bitch.
And I've always said, if I run across the parts, I'll pick them up. Well, now I'm running across the parts.
I need those.
You need those.
I need those. All of them.
He needs it.
I need it. I need it.
You don't even have a Castle Grayskull.
You're not an 18 and I'm not walking across the street.
For y'all. For you. Have it. Thanks, sir. Thank you. No problem. You're always good to us.
Homeboy hookup here. We got all those parts for the Castle Grayskull for free.
It's building up that relationship with somebody. You know, anyone who has built up a relationship with a store owner or or other, you know, sellers or collectors or whatever, you know you're always going to get that deal. They're going to hook you up.
10-star. Yeah, right. It looks at ET.
So Billy sees this ET, this kind of pull-string ET. I freaking loved the movie as a kid. This was the second movie I ever saw in the theaters.
Are you an ET fan or just like the fact that...
Oh no, like that was like the second movie I ever saw in theaters. I had ET pajamas. I had ET t-shirts. We had toys and stuff. Never had this before, but this is so freaking cool.
E.T. was definitely one of those movies when I was a kid that still to this day rings true into my heart.
The movie's amazing. It's a classic, you know? It really resonated with us as kids. And I even remember the Alvin and the Chipmunks song. They made an E.T. song that actually got radio play because that's where I heard it, is on the radio. They made an E.T. song. I'd like to get that record, actually.
This is something that I would actually be interested in if Melvor passes on it.
Hey, how much for the ET?
ET I can do $7.
$7? It's a no-brainer, right? It's freaking awesome.
Craig used to be one of the owners of a local video game and toy store here in DFW called Retro Madness.
I met Craig back in like a toy show years and years ago.
Would you say, Chump, check that out? You can't say that's not cool.
I said you were stupid is what I said.
I like collecting stuff for E.T. I have quite a few things E.T., including like dinner trays and keychains and stuff.
Why did you do this?
Like, because the tray, you hold the tray.
Dude, I've been offered a lot of money when we had a store for him. He's our mascot for a long time. We had a business card right here. And we have a guy who collects nothing but ET. And I was like, I can't let him go. I can't let him go. Then finally, he needs a new home. We have a new mascot, a Megazord we found. You gotta have the mascots.
This talking ET thing here was made by LJN. Yes, that LJN, the video game company. They're actually known for making pretty crappy video games. They actually made some really cool toys.
Pull the cord.
Probably doesn't work at this point. It actually didn't sound bad. I don't care if Billy saw this first. This is something that I'm going to get regardless.
Son of a bitch.
I don't really think he's the biggest CT fan anyways, though, so I don't think he's gonna mind. But I'm very happy. $7, this is a score. If I get nothing else today, this makes my day. I'm happy.
That's a hell of a deal, in my opinion. They'd be a fool not to get it. One of them better get it. Hell, I might even get it if they don't want it, which they're going to want it, so I'm not going to get it.
You know, there's a lot of really good stuff here. I'm not surprised. We've been to this show before, and it's a lot of the same vendors, and they usually have a lot of really good things.
This is my number one want right now. So
we're looking around and we're seeing all kinds of stuff. I really do like this con because it's a smaller one and you can get really good prices.
I absolutely love these conventions and just going up and down these aisles. It's like a kid in a candy store.
So one thing that really catches my eye here is a Star Wars figure by the name of Snaggletooth, wearing blue.
What?
A Snaggletooth that just so happens to be blue.
I think that's what it was. A Cantina playset, only available through Sears.
Yeah.
This wasn't something that you could buy in stores. This was a mail-in offer through Sears, so it is more rare, more desirable.
So I am definitely interested in this figure. Obviously in the back of my head, I have a list of wants. This figure, as far as Star Wars figures goes, is towards the top of that list.
50? 50? That's a good price.
I'm actually extremely shocked by that.
It's really beat up though.
Even so, how many times have you seen one of these?
Not very often.
It's my first time ever.
The paint's a little scuffed, it is a little loose, but similar condition ones are going for a lot more on eBay.
I don't know, I mean...
Honestly, at $50, this is a hell of a deal, but when I hear a price tag that high on one item, my butthole kind of puckers up a little bit. I don't like spending money, even though I've never seen this toy ever.
Nobody wants to spend $50 on anything, ever. Wow, that's Snaggletooth.
You're a little late there. I borrowed money from Jay. If I had money, I'd be interested in getting this myself.
He's got teeth, but they're snaggled. How about that?
Honestly, I've already spent some money today as well, so I don't know if another $50 just wants to come flying out of my wallet at this point.
Snaggletooth is actually a kind of dumb character, though. Look at his face. I mean, he looks like a freaking idiot, dude.
Snaggletooth looks even dumber than Melvor. I'm always excited to go to a toy show. It's the perfect place to find, say, like an accessory to a toy that you already own.
I was going through my stuff. I noticed there was a lot of missing pieces.
Oh, that's his gun. That's his gun. That's his gun. That's his gun.
This bag of looks like accessories and parts. I'm seeing bright red, and what these look like are the pods that go on the toy Jetfire. One of my favorite Transformers, actually.
This is to Slag, I think. This is one of his missiles. I'm missing a lot of parts for the stuff I had as a kid. And I know it's because when I was a kid, when I wasn't there, my dirtbag brothers, Tim, and Jay, and Tadongo,
that's the way game chasing go.
Would sneak into my Transformers and play with them. That's why stuff ended up missing.
Tell you what,
I'm missing pieces for some.
Hold back to how much?
15. Don't think we could pass this up because all this stuff kind of individual on eBay is going to cost 4 or 5 times this easy. So this is kind of one where it's a no-brainer again. I found at least a fist. I bet the other one's in there. We got a piece of Devastator. You got the guns. These guys actually, the other pieces transform into a robot.
Transformers, my meat will meet your mom. I got a Skyfire, and it was actually on Toy Chasers. I got it from Van. Didn't have all the parts to it. I think this completes it, unless there's something else that's I'm not remembering that goes on there. And thank you for pointing out that was the wrong gun. I don't know why I was thinking it was that other one.
Actually, he was the one who found them. He found a bag of stuff.
Well, double thank you then. Yeah, it can be a pain in the ass to find the parts, but if you're cheap like we are and you can't spend top dollar for complete toys, then you get the shell, and then you spend $3 to go into a convention like this, and you pick the pieces that you need for dirt cheap. They have here at this booth one of the remaining Joe vehicles I need. It's the APC. It's basically a troop transport. I was gonna get it at Ayers when we went back there, but that son of a bitch started trying to say it was like all $70 or something, which it's not.
Yeah, you're missing the seatbelt and you're missing the top gunner.
I'm looking at it here, but I don't know if I want to get it because it's not complete. And I know that contradicts exactly what I was just saying. So I don't know. I think it's more of I'm just trying to make an excuse because I don't want to spend the money.
I think so. You can want this, right?
No, I didn't get it.
It smells like butt.
It smells horrible in here, right?
Rank.
At one point or another, we all lose common sense. And we pass on things that for no good reason we should. And it's not till afterwards that we realize, what were we thinking? We should have picked that up. It's happened to me just as much as Billy and Jay, so I can't say that they're stupider than I am. But they are stupider than I am. I'm sorry, it's true.
Melvor is so aggravated and frustrated with me not purchasing this toy right now at $50. It's not that I don't have the money, I do. It's just a lot of money for a stupid toy, right?
He's probably never going to see one again, and if he does, it's going to be 150 or more. I don't know why he's so indecisive right now. That's the kind of type of thing that you just have to bite. At least somebody is in the right frame of mind, and I realize Jay is really going to regret this afterwards. So I'll go to an ATM and I'll get 20 bucks out because let's face it, we're not going to ever see this thing in the wild. This thing has to get bought by one of us.
You need to get this. Huh?
Hey, how's it feel to be borrowing money from me now, chump?
Or I could just say you're paying me back from what I gave you earlier.
If me throwing down a little bit of money makes it easier for Jay to go ahead and get it, then, you know, I'm gonna help him out.
If Melvor's gonna throw in on it, it makes my bottom line even cheaper, so why not, right? Plus, that son of a bitch owes me because I buy him so much all the time.
I had a great time today. Just being in that world again of surrounded by a bunch of 80s and 70s goodness.
I tend to have the most fun at these things when we don't spend a lot of money. It's going and digging through the bargain bins and finding that loose weapon that you've lost or that you never had.
Lots of good stuff, lots of good prices. The vendors were great. I can't complain. I'm happy with everything. What did we spend? 100 bucks? I'm happy with it.
Hey, do you need a Jetfire pods?
What are they called?
Jetfire red things.
Who doesn't like reptilian alien people? Snaggletooth is actually a kind of dumb character, though. Look at his face. I mean, he looks like a freaking idiot, dude. He's one of the sorriest ones, man. He really is in the cantina. I mean, he's not as bad as the Tintin dwarf, but I mean, you look at him, he looks like a freaking idiot, dude.
So they can make a Snaggletooth figure, but not a Target.
They can make two versions of Snaggletooth, but they never bothered to make a Tarkin, you know, because I guess he just had screen presence.